It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the best show that you'll ever know. It's the Dep Lewis Show, and it's episode 22. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Saturday, March 4th, 2023. We are in a new month in this 2023 year, so welcome to the new month. Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show. Welcome to the video game world, and how are you doing today out there, loyal listener? Hope you're doing great. Hope you've been having a great week since we last talked. I've had a very busy week here on the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show is relocated, and we are fully in our new place now. So this is going to be our first episode in the new multi-million-dollar studio. This studio here is equipped with, just the finest equipment, the finest sound structure, everything you can need, top assistants, many people on the case here, making sure this Dep Lewis Show is getting to your ears and being wonderful. So just, much appreciation to everyone involved with the Dep Lewis Show and everyone out there listening. This is going to be a great show today, episode 22. So we're going to get started with telling you what to do. Follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. That email box is open 365, 24/7. So please send your questions, your feedbacks, your concerns, your thoughts, your whatever you got out there. Send them to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. Buzzsprout is a great hub to find the best place for you to listen to this podcast. Clips of the show are on YouTube and TikTok. And please go check those out and like those too if you want to see some gameplay footage. This is just a side note for the Dep Lewis Show episode 22. I don't think we're going to have any clips this week. This is just going to be an episode, an audio experience for you. And I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to take maybe a 1 week hiatus for some clips. And we're going to get the Dep Lewis Show fully back in order next week with your clips, with your gameplay footage, with your TikToks, with your YouTubes, and just with the regular show in general. So don't worry, the Dep Lewis Show will always be here. And, just sometimes things might be a little different. So that's all I want to say. All right. So this show today, we got some notes from last show, actually. I said the Hawks beat the Timberwolves last week, and it was actually the Cavs. So pretty dumb. Last week I was, these last couple of weeks have been very busy. I was barely checking in on that game, but I did notice the Hawks won, but it was against the Cavs. So pretty stupid. So just wanted to correct that from last show, and I want to get into the first section of this show now, into the what I've been playing section. This section is going to be a little bit, I guess we're going to say abridged or short this week. I've been playing some games, but not a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot to say about the things I've been playing, just because I've been so busy. It hasn't been really a normal week yet. So next week will be some return to normalcy. I'll be back to work at my normal job. I'll be in this new location. And the Dep Lewis Show will be back 1,000% for the next episode. So this is the last episode of the transition that you have to listen to. So, just thank you, and I appreciate it. The Dep Lewis Show is going to flow with, have ebbs and flows. And, this is just one of those ebbs or one of those flows. So here we go. All right. So let's see what I've been playing this week. The first thing I want to talk about is I got all my video game stuff back in one place after moving, and that feels really good. I hadn't had my PlayStation in a while. I didn't have my Series X. I've been rocking my Series S and playing my Switch. So now I got all the big dog consoles back with their high power and things of that nature. So I'm very happy. I've been booted up some PlayStation games last night. Just kicked around in them. Kicked around some Horizon. What else did I do? I downloaded some stuff on there. I downloaded Persona 5 again, Royale on there. I wanted to jump into some Elden Ring. I jumped into some Ratchet for a minute. I was just missing my PlayStation, so I got in there and just played some games for a bit. And it was very fun, so I just want to say shout out to that. I now have my PlayStation standing vertically again. I know there were some reports, maybe just one report out there is why this got overblown, but there was a vertical PS5 that was leaking some type of acid or something that's in there. And they said it was caused by the vertical position. But I've had my console both ways. I haven't had any issues, and I'm going to risk it. I think it looks better standing up. It saves a little more space and fits behind my TV nicely. So that is the objective there. So it's been very good to have all my consoles back in one place. So this upcoming week should be a normal video gaming week. I should have ample and all the opportunities I would like to play some video games and record my clips and kind of do all that stuff. So very excited. It's always nice to have all your stuff in one place, especially all your cool video game shit. So I just wanted to bring that up about what's going on in my world over here. But I have played some things. So since we last talked, I played some Fire Emblem Engage. I haven't really had any luck in Fire Emblem Engage. I actually played the first chapter in this game that I got defeated very quickly. So I don't know if I'm underleveled or if I was just jumping into battle too quickly, but I got my ass kicked in Chapter 18. I think I need to go back maybe and play some of the prologues, maybe to get stronger. Doesn't exactly seem correct to do this late in the game, but I don't know. I think this is my first little speed bump in this game where I've got to something I'm like, I don't know, what to do here, or if I should keep going in this game. I'm at 18 of 20-something on the chapters, but I don't know. I don't know if I misplayed or if I just had a bad run that one time, but I need to get back in there and try. But I just wanted to report that it's not, I've been pretty high on this game, so there's one little blemish here, but I don't know if it's just, I don't know if it's just a blemish or I just suck or what it is, but I got my ass kicked in Chapter 18, slowing my momentum down a little bit, but I will be back on the Fire Emblem Engage horse. I would love to complete this game. I'm thinking now more and more that maybe it's not hitting the highs of Fire Emblem Three Houses, but this game is still very fun and very cool and a great Switch game and should be in contention on my Game of the Year list, but I don't know if I'm going to be ranking in my mind over Three Houses yet, so that's just, you're listening to my thoughts in real time here on this game, but Fire Emblem Engage has been very fun. I would definitely say if you're a Fire Emblem fan, you should play this. If you're expecting some of the monastery stuff from last game, I would say that's not so much here. It's more just focused on the battles, and that can be good and bad. If you like the monastery stuff, you might be missing it a little bit, which I think I might be falling into that category a little bit. But I love the combat in these games, and the strategy, and the characters are cool, so I think it's really fun. I made a list of all the emblems in this game, and I think I determined you get all the emblems. Yeah, you get all the emblems by, so this is spoiler alert. So spoiler alert, Chapter 16. So you'll have access to all the emblems by Chapter 16. You can switch them around on your characters. All the emblems, I might pronounce some of these incorrectly, but all the emblems are Marth, Celisa, yeah, I guess Sigurd, Michaela, I don't know, Leaf, Roy, Lynn, Lucina, and Byleth, Corin, and Erika. And let's see, my favorites are Lucina, for sure, Lynn, and Byleth. Lynn has the giant bow and rolls around with Ivy's at the start, so I really love that because I like Ivy. I think Lucina might be my favorite, though. She's really cool. And Byleth I love from Three Houses. I played male and female Byleth in Three Houses and enjoyed both of them. So really, really cool. Love all the characters in this game. And Chapter 18, hopefully Chapter 18 will be taken down by the time I talk to you next week is my plan. And possibly more chapters. I really kind of got off my Fire Emblem groove in the last week over the course of the move. So, I really kind of got out of a lot of these groups here, but, that's going to be the story of Dep Lewis Show, episode 22, what I've been playing section. That haven't been playing too much. So, first game was Fire Emblem Engage. The next game I've been playing some is Dead Space Remake. I'm on Chapter 16. I just got to that hydroponic area, which might be the coolest area in the game so far. I love seeing the greenery. It's a nice change from the space horror on the Ishimura that you're dealing with, so it's nice to see some plants and some life and some greenery. And I'm walking into this area though that's refreshing to see, and there's an AI or hologram person begging me or anyone else to turn back, so it's scary. They're saying there's a giant monster in there. They programmed this hologram to tell you to turn away because they determined it's so dangerous, and Isaac and myself are just walking straight in there. So that's what I have to look forward to in Dead Space Remake, which I'm still loving. I think I'm halfway through this game at this point is what it seems like based on the chapters. And Isaac and I have been having a great time. So this will be something I got to get back into more this week. That's the story of this show this week. And then let's keep going down this list. So I did play THEATRHYTHM Final Bar Line Demo. And I got to say this was super fun. I think I liked it more than I even expected. The rhythm stuff was fun. There's many different rhythm combinations and button presses you can hit, and they really do make you bob your head while you're playing. It's really, really cool. I believe this game's $49.99. It's on the Switch, and I believe it's on PlayStation. I don't know if I'm going to buy this, but it's something I would like to buy at some point. I just don't know when. But this game's fun. This seems like it would be a great handheld experience. I love all the prompts, and the music is amazing. They let you unlock this has every Final Fantasy game in there. It's going to have the Nier series. It's going to have Chrono Trigger. So this game has a lot of epic music that people are wanting to hear, and that's fun to play with. And they give you an unlock, so you're unlocking things. There's all sorts of stuff going on in this game to unlock, and different characters and stuff like that. But I unlocked Final Fantasy VII first, since that's, one of the Final Fantasies I have some experience with, and, I got to build my team out. They recommended I had a healer on the team. I don't exactly know when the healer was healing, because all I was trying to do was, hit the rhythm and all the beats and stuff, but you build your team, they have different abilities and things like that. So a few of these characters I was familiar with from Final Fantasy VII, but there's obviously a million characters over the Final Fantasy world that I'm not familiar with, since I haven't played a lot of them, but I think the main, even the main thing here of just the music and the button presses seems like a fun game. So that's the part that kind of has me hooked, where I think I like rhythm games more than I play them. So this is something, I'm talking through it now. I would like to buy at some point, but I just don't know when. That's the only thing I got to say. Just don't know when. But I think if you're on the fence about this and want to play it, I think you should. All right, so talking about some more games. There's becoming a good list of things I want to buy for this year. So I just wanted to highlight some of those. I'd like to buy the Metroid Dread Remastered on the Switch. I thought about buying Hogwarts Legacy on my Xbox. Like a Dragon Ishin, I've thought about buying that more recently. I also kind of want to buy Pokemon now. I was kind of hype on the Pokemon this week, and I actually almost purchased it. I almost purchased Pokemon Violet. But I listened to Nintendo Voice Chat last night, and Rev Valentine was on there talking about how the patch hasn't really, how this game is still really janky. And, I thought this was the second kind of major patch. I was thinking it would, come out to some more fanfare. And I think it did fix some things, but it sounds like this game has a long list of things that are wrong with it technically. And I don't think those things have been fully addressed. So that was really, I was glad I listened to that, because I've been mulling over buying this game. They have that Nintendo voucher system. I know I want to buy Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And if I could find a second game to buy with a voucher system, that would be some pretty good value. So I was trying to put Pokemon in that slot, but now I'm just going to hold off. And if I can't pick another game to put in the slot, I'll just buy Tears of the Kingdom itself. But Metroid Dread is $40. It's not included on the voucher. And the other one, THEATRHYTHM, is $49.99. That's not included on the voucher system either, I don't believe. So I need to check that out, because that would maybe be one that I'd be worth dropping the cash for. But I don't think it's on there. But the Nintendo Switch voucher thing is another cool thing to check out if you haven't seen it. I know I've talked about it on the show a few times, but if you haven't gone to check out the game list, I think you should go check it out. You just pay $100, you get 2 vouchers, and these 2 vouchers will let you unlock any 2 games you want on the Nintendo voucher list games. And they have a lot of heavy hitters on there, like the pre-order of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. They got pre-order for Pikmin 4, pre-order for Advance Wars. They have the recent Pokemon games on there. They have the recent Kirby game on there. Pretty much, they have a Fire Emblem Engage on there if you want to buy that in a combo with something. So I think it's a really cool promotion, and I guess it's maybe more than a promotion. It might be something more permanent they're doing, but it's a very cool option for buying some Switch games, and it's really made me looking at them like, hey, should I buy this? Because I'm getting a good deal on it. So I think their tactic is working. So just a couple games I'm looking to buy there. There's some stuff coming out in March that I'd be interested in buying, and there's a few sales going on right now. Some stuff I want to buy, and I might get into that more in the middle section of this show today. Talk about some upcoming stuff and what I plan on playing, because it's a tough job out here trying to sort through all these games and which ones you want to play and spend your time with, because there's an overflow of amazing games all the time, it seems like, and never-ending backlogs. Old games are still fun. There's years and years and years and years and years upon video games where you might have missed one during that time that people love it, and just a great time to be a video gamer. That's all I gotta say. So we're gonna wrap up this first section of the show. We're gonna be kind of quick today with this on the episode 22. This has been the What I've Been Playing section. I got all my video game stuff back in one place. It's all hooked up. I'm wired back in. Got my Xbox wired in for the fast internet. I'm ready to roll. I got all my updates on there. I booted them up, told them I missed them, and all my consoles are doing well, so I'm happy about it. All my controllers are doing good. They're all in the right place. I'm all organized, so I should have a wonderful week of normal life and gaming coming up. So I'll be reporting back to you a good bit of stuff next week, I hope. But in my busy week, I played some Fire Emblem Engage. I played some Dead Space Remake. I tried out that THEATRHYTHM Final Bar Line demo. I also downloaded the Octopath Traveler 2 demo, which I'd like to try at some point. I just remembered that. And then there's a growing list of games from this year and, even previous years that I like to buy. But even for this year, I'd still like to buy Metroid Dread Remastered, Hogwarts Legacy, Like a Dragon Ishin, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm still thinking about that from last year. And I definitely would like to buy The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in May. So a lot of great games to be tracking. It's March. And we just got to keep looking at all these games and planning out what to do. So in the next section coming up, we're going to talk about what I've been seeing. And we're going to get into some stuff coming out in March is the plan there. And then I never told you about the show in general. And then the final section of the show, we're going to get into some sports talk. We got some comedy talk in there as well. And the miscellaneous talk section will be a little bit longer this week since I've seen some more sports going on. Then I guess I have in this what I've been playing section. So the balance of this podcast will be a little more end heavy. So we're going to wrap up this first section here. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back to the what I've been seeing section. And we're going to talk about some video game stuff out there in the ether, out there in the video game world, the video game landscape, the video game universe, and you're going to love it. So come on back in just a minute, and I'll be here for the midsection of episode 22. Be right back. Well, welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 22. We're here to talk about what I've been seeing across the video game landscape. And I actually have a decent bit of news this week. That's been the main meat, as the Fire Escape podcast would say. The main meat of this podcast this week will be this middle section. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is I've been watching Dan Reichert and his sister Kayla play Resident Evil 5. It's been really fun to watch on Twitch. This makes me want to play the Resident Evil games, again, or some more. I've played some of the Resident Evil games across my time, but I would like to get back into them possibly, especially with my survival horror being the overarching theme of my year so far, of wanting to play some survival horror, get more into that genre, play some more of those games, and it's been really fun watching them play. I don't think Resident Evil 5 is touted as one of the best Resident Evils, but watching Dan and his sister play it co-op has been very funny and very cool. And the Resident Evils are actually on sale right now, so at least on Xbox I saw you can get Resident Evil 2 and 3 remastered in that Raccoon City edition for $14.99. I think that's something I'm going to pick up. Resident Evil 7's on sale, and then I guess Resident Evil 7's called Biohazard. I could be getting some of this wrong because I've been trying to learn this myself, but I think Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, and Resident Evil Village are also good ones. So I think those are the four that I want to purchase, besides an upcoming game. The upcoming remake of Resident Evil 4 that comes out in March that we'll talk about in just a bit. But there's a lot of Resident Evil stuff going on right now. I think I am going to pick up 2 and 3 on that sale just so I have them in my backlog. But I might wait on starting my Resident Evil kick, when the remaster of Resident Evil 4 comes out later in this month. So I just wanted to start this off with some Resident Evil, since it's been really cool to watch that. And there's one of those games releasing this month. So I figured that was a great place to start. If you don't know Dan Reichert, he's on the Fire Escape podcast with Mike Mahardy and Mary Kish, and it comes out every other Monday. They just dropped an episode this Monday that was very good. I listened to it while I was doing some traveling, so I really appreciate their podcast because it was very fun to listen to. Just like hopefully you're having a great time listening to the Dep Lewis Show every week and this week. So shout out to Resident Evil, shout out to Dan and the Fire Escape podcast. So Resident Evil, looking really cool. Dep Lewis Show might be pumping out some content on the Resident Evil sometime in the near future. All right, the official Dep Lewis Show, best video game of 2022, Splatoon 3, has a new fresh season 2023 that kicked off March 1st. So March brought on a new season of Splatoon 3. There's some new weapons and stages. I still don't believe we have any news or any sightings of a new Splatfest coming up, but if I see that, I will let you know. I just saw on Twitter that the new season has started. I haven't really been into the Splatoon 3 since the last Splatfest, but I do plan on playing some more Splatoon 3 in the future, and I love that game. It's the best game of 2022, and basically the next thing I'm clocking for is the Splatfest there, but I wanted to let you know that the new season has started, so go get your rank up if you'd like, and go splat some people. Very fun. Alright, the next thing that I saw this week, I saw MinMax. Alright, so MinMax was talking so swimmingly about the Legend of Zelda Minish cap on the Game Boy Advance. So I've seen a few people on their site or on their team have been playing this and checking it out and really loving it, and they were talking about it. And I don't think I ever played Minish cap back in the day. I played a little bit of every Zelda almost, but Minish Cap is one I missed, and they were talking about how much they love this. So I just wanted to point out that if you have Nintendo Switch Online, you can go play the Game Boy Advance stuff. If you have I don't know what it's called. It's like the premier tier of Nintendo Switch Online, the expansion pass where you pay more. That allows you the Game Boy Advance collection. If you just pay the regular base Nintendo Switch Online, you can just play Game Boy games. So I've tried some of that out, but I don't have the expansion just because I haven't felt it necessary to purchase yet for myself. But if you do have it, maybe go check out the Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. I've been hearing really cool things about that this week, and it's an old game, but it sounds like it holds up very well. And just wanted to highlight that. And I also want to highlight that I am sitting in my computer chair today. So that is not the most ideal for sound quality. So, just my apologies to your ears and to your hearts and to your minds. First show in a new place, trying to get my bearings. Should have grabbed my other chair. But you know what? We're rolling now. And it's going to be a great show regardless. So we're going to keep on keeping on. I will try to quit moving around in this chair. All right. So the big news of this week, there was two. Let's see. Yeah. Two pretty big news beats from this week. There was a Pokemon Presents. And I'm going to give you the info from that. Pokemon World Championship dates and key art revealed. So if you want to get into some high-level Pokemon battling, go look that up. I am not one of those people. I just play Pokemon games casually and have some fun with them. There's a Pokemon trading card game Classic announced, a premium Pokemon TCG set that will last a lifetime. So this appears to be something with the original 151 that they're releasing. These are the... I was watching the live stream talk about this, and they were saying, I can't believe they're releasing these again. Some of these cards are rare and really valuable, but it seems like they're making the set going to be pretty exclusive and not exactly like it's going to be around forever, so I don't know, but it sounds cool. That's the first time I was introduced to Pokemon with the original 151, and, I had a lot of these cards back in the day. I don't have any Pokemon cards anymore, but just very cool, very nostalgic. They had the holographic Charizard on there, Charizard, Venusaur, and Bulbasaur up there rocking. So, this classic as classic can get. So that's something they announced. Let's see. Pokemon Concierge is a stop-motion animation series for Netflix coming out. Psyduck was doing this thing in here. It looked pretty cool, so I just wanted to report on that. Pokemon Unite is getting Swords Zacian, or Zacian, Zacian. So Pokemon Unite is getting a popular Pokemon from Sword. Pokemon Cafe Remix gets Scarlet and Violet DLC. Pokemon Masters EX gets Rally with 6 classic trainers. Pokemon Sleep wakes up, launching this summer. I might have some interest in that. It wakes, they had all these Pokemon laying in people's beds, and this basically looks just like an alarm clock app with some Pokemon flavor. So I might be downloading this because I would like to get, woken up by a Pokemon alarm. Sounds kind of cool. I think Pokemon Sleep is an older thing, but they're bringing it back from what I can understand. But either way, I'll be checking it out. Maybe you should too. Pokemon Go Plus has been announced for Pokemon Sleep and Pokemon Go. So if you're still a Pokemon Goer, it looks like there's some additional content being pumped into that still, which is really cool. And then some of the bigger news from this show, the Pokemon Presents, is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet expansions have been announced. The first will be available fall of 2023, and it's called the Teal Mask, during which players will visit an area beyond the Paldea region called Kitakami. The second expansion is the Indigo Disc and will be released in winter 2023 and have players attend Blueberry Academy as an exchange student. So I would like to see, fall makes me think of fourth quarter of this year. Winter could be some fourth quarter, but is more likely first quarter. So possibly we'll be seeing, my guess on this maybe is like November and January. I don't know. But I like that. I don't like that they say fall and winter because I feel like that's a little vague, but I wish they would tell us the windows for that. Unless it's really just the windows, look at the calendar or whatever and see, when fall starts or whatever. But it appears we'll get something from this late in the year this year and then probably early next year, I guess is my guess. But there's still some other underlying problems with that game. But getting new content to a game is usually pretty cool. In other Pokemon news, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet version 1.2.0 patch is now live. The DLC eShop page is now accessible from the game. And with this update, they have added new features, new functionality for Pokemon boxes, and fixes for bugs that affected game progress, among other updates. We will continue to take your feedback very seriously and take measures to improve your gameplay experience. So they've made some updates. It basically sounds like they have a mountain of updates they need to make this game technically proficient. And I don't know if they're going to ever get there. I've heard some rumors this week that there could be an upgraded version for this if they release a new Switch. That's when we're actually going to get a decent quality version technically of this game. We'll have to be on the next iteration of the console, so that's kind of disheartening. But I don't know. It doesn't sound like this most recent patch has solved all the issues. I know a lot of people still like this game and still play through it, but I'm not like a hardcore Pokemon fan. I like it, so it not running technically well kind of does scare me away from this game, because I would like to play it. I would almost just I've almost bought it a few times even with all these problems. But I think it could go a long way if they have some type of update that gets pretty good reception across the board of hey, these updates have been made, but it doesn't even sound like that's come from this update. So I don't know if I'm jumping board. Rev Valentine from the Nintendo voice chat kind of, I think she's just being straight up about it. She's played this game. I think she's beat all of it or whatever, even done the shiny hunting. But she was saying that this game is still kind of in an unacceptable state, and for someone who's trying to play a lot of different games and maybe I'm not the hardest core of Pokemon fan, it's going to end up being a skip for me, and that's kind of sad, because normally I would purchase a Pokemon game day one, but this one pretty immediately had, holy shit, what's going on with this game technically. So I don't know, but Pokemon Presents had some pretty good info. I'm really kind of checking for the updates to Scarlet and Violet. I like the Pokemon Sleep, looks pretty cool. I might check that out. And I don't think I'll get into Scarlet and Violet DLC, but I might play one of those games at some point. So never know, I could get into the DLC. All right. So speaking of DLC and talking about segues and transitions, we're going to talk about Elden Ring has a new expansion. This first DLC expansion has been finally confirmed. From Software has finally announced the first major expansion to Elden Ring, titled Shadow of the Erdtree. Not much is known about what will be included in the upcoming DLC, not even a release date. This technically, though, isn't the first DLC Elden Ring has received. It got a multiplayer-centric Coliseum update a few months ago that allowed proper PvP. But if this follows the Dark Souls expansions, it will be substantial story-related content. So that is what everyone wants from Elden Ring as DLC. We want substantial story-related content. Give us more of the game, and people will be happy. I haven't completed Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring. It was Game of the Year for most people in 2022, and I know a lot of people have completed it already by now, so they're probably itching for more DLC. I'm sure they'll pay whatever it is to get the DLC, and I'm sure I could be buying this DLC at some point in the future. Elden Ring is a game that I need to spend some more time with, because it's very, very cool. And so, I'm not a candidate for buying the DLC right away, unless it's just, doing something exceptionally cool, and if I can access it from where I'm at, maybe I would. But other than that, I just need to keep playing base Elden Ring. But this is very, very cool that this is being announced. And Elden Ring already seems like a giant, expansive, mind-blowingly large game. So getting some DLC, adding more content, more areas to it possibly is pretty insane. And I just want to shout out their execution on this game. From Software, delivered an excellent game. They have a plan for adding some more, hopefully excellent content to it. And, A+, very, very high bar of video game development. And, just shout out to them. Really, really cool. And this news really shakes the industry up, based on how good this game is. So very cool. It's got to be great to release an announced DLC when people are this hyped for it, as the devs and all the business people for Elden Ring. They probably love being able to bring this announcement to you. So it's got to be an exciting and advantageous position to be in. So very, very cool. Elden Ring doing big things. And Elden Ring 2, it's got to happen someday, right? Years down the road, but it's got to happen, I would think. But we will see. Elden Ring is really cool. Go check it out if you haven't played it, and look out for the DLC coming. I guess maybe this year. It doesn't really say, but I would expect if they announced it, early in the year, maybe we see it later in the year. Sounds pretty smart. Okay, so now we are in the month. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we are in March of 2023, already the third month of the year. So we already got 2 months under our belt with some video games in there. I think I've tried maybe four new games this year, maybe 5. And I think 3 of them have really stuck, and the other 2 maybe I've just played a tad, and I won't really expect to be on my Game of the Year list unless I bounce back to them and play them. But this has been a really great year so far for video games. And let's talk about March, what we're going to see in March. So the first thing here is something I actually pre-ordered last night. It was $9.99 on the Switch, and that is the Dead Cells Return to Castlevania DLC. So you need the base game to play this DLC, which I already own, so I was able to just buy the DLC content for $9.99, and that will be released on March 6th, 2023, so that will be Monday. Pretty awesome. I didn't realize, getting a Monday drop. Very cool. And this will be available on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, so you can play this on old or new gen Xbox PS4s. You can play this on your Switch and on your PC. So you probably already own Dead Cells somewhere. Dead Cells is also on Xbox Game Pass. So I don't know if you get access to the DLC through Game Pass, but if you wanted to save a buck, you could download Dead Cells through Game Pass and just buy the DLC upgrade for $9.99. And that would be a way to save a little money and be able to play the full breadth of the content and the Breath of the Wild. And I think I said breath a few times in this podcast, maybe before, but I'm excited about this Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. I got this on my Switch. I haven't played Dead Cells too much since it got released, but I played a whole lot of it when it came out. The Great Ballness, who's a friend of the show, is a Dead Cells fan too, so I wonder if he'll be picking this up. And I'll just be reporting back to you next week about this. I'll be able to play some Monday, so you should, if you're taking notes and want to put some stuff on the calendar, you'll hear the Dep Lewis Show next week. Probably you will, not a probably. Take the probably out of there. You'll hear the Dep Lewis Show, episode 23 is going to be talking about Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. So come back next week for that hot Dead Cells DLC talk. All right, so going forward with our March look ahead, Bayonetta Origins, Cerveza, not Cerveza, but it's pretty close without the V. And The Lost Demon comes out March 17th, 2023 for Nintendo Switch. That game is part of the Nintendo Vouchers promotion. This is the origin story of Bayonetta, I guess when she was known as Cerveza. It looks very cool. It's a different style from the hack and slash action game of Bayonetta. I've never really played Bayonetta, but I know about her and it looks really cool and something I like to play. And this origin story looks like a unique take on it. I think it's cool that they're putting a prime lead character in another context of a video game. That's something you wouldn't expect. So I think it's cool. I'll be excited to see the reception to this game and the talk about it more so than me just wanting to buy it right away. But I have this on my list of things to check out. Looks really cool. Bayonetta Origins, Cerveza, and The Lost Demon, 3/17/23. All right, we talked about this franchise in the last section a bit, and that is Resident Evil, because Resident Evil 4 gets a remake on March 24th, 2023. That's available on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and PC. So I don't know if Xbox One is excluded here, but just as a reminder, you should always check that out on games these days coming out. If you do not have a next-gen console, you don't want to buy an old game and get burned and not be able to play it until a later date, or if you upgrade your console. So this might be one for that. If you're on the Xbox, check it out. But it appears, this is definitely on the next gens, and it's definitely on PC, I guess. But Resident Evil 4 looks really cool. I think this could be something that I buy. I talked about buying Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes because they're for cheap right now, $14.99 for both of them total. And this is a full price game. Resident Evil 4 is touted as the best Resident Evil game by many people, and this remake looks amazing. The graphics look amazing. Looks really cool. I think this is going to be something I have to buy. I just don't know if I buy it after I beat Dead Space or not, but we will see. Okay, the next game that comes out is MLB The Show 2023. That comes out March 28th, 2023. That game is coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So that is running the whole gamut of consoles. And it's also available on Xbox Game Pass Day 1. So MLB The Show, March 28th. Atlanta Braves start their season March 30th. If you have Game Pass, you can play this on Day 1. And that's the way I'm going to be playing this game. I'm going to be playing MLB The Show to get some clips for the Miscellaneous Talk section. When I'm talking about how wonderfully and excellent the Atlanta Braves are doing this year and how much I love them. Now they're the official team of the Dep Lewis Show and the best team in the nation. So MLB The Show will be helping me with that. And if you love playing baseball games, this is the perfect one to play. And I just wanted to highlight that. All right, so for the end of the March look ahead, we got The Last of Us Part 1 comes out 3/28/2023 to PC. So this basically just opens The Last of Us Part 1 to a new audience. The success of The Last of Us show is definitely going to be getting some people interested in this. So their sales figures should probably be a little higher than, if the show did not exist. So that's pretty cool. And Last of Us 2 is my favorite game of all time for the Dep Lewis Show and Infinity. Last of Us 2 is number one in the pantheon of Dep Lewis Show. My favorite game ever is Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 1 could possibly be in the top 10, but I have to give Last of Us 2 the spot, and then it's harder to give another game in the series such a close spot. But I love Last of Us Part 2. It was probably Last of Us Part 1 was probably one of my favorite games after I played it, but Part 2 stole my video game heart. So I just love this series. I would love to still play the remake of Last of Us Part 1. I haven't played the remake of it. I played it originally, I guess in 2013, but it's cool this is coming to PC, and I'm just happy more people can play this. And I bet a lot more people will be trying to play this, especially with the success of the show. So really, really cool. So March is going to be a great month. I'm going to have a lot of, it's going to be fun to be in my new place. We got some new video games coming out. Have a couple great games from this year already, so March is setting up to be pretty epic. So I'm happy about that, and I hope you are too. So that is going to wrap up the midsection of the show today. We talked about Dan and Kayla on Twitch playing Resident Evil 5. Go check them out. Go check out Fire Escape Podcast. Subscribe to both their Twitches. Go support those people on Twitter on any site you can find them. Splatoon 3 has a new fresh season 2023 going on. Kicked off March 1st. Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is seeming very cool on the Game Boy Advance side of the Nintendo Switch Online, so you have to have the expansion, but maybe go play that. It's an old game that a lot of people are getting back into, and maybe you should too. We had the Pokemon Presents last week, so we got a handful of good Pokemon news. There was an update to Scarlet and Violet. We got some Scarlet and Violet DLC coming out starting in the fall. Pokemon Sleep is coming back this summer, so a few cool things there. Elden Ring announced its first major DLC expansion with story content, so that's coming sometime. They didn't say, but people will be buying that whenever it drops. And then we did a March look ahead for what's coming out in March. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania DLC, March 6, 2023. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon, Resident Evil 4 Remake, MLB The Show 23, and The Last of Us Part 1 comes to PC. So those were the video game releases that I am interested in and excited about and wanted to highlight for you today. And just thank you for listening to this midsection. So we're going to take one more break. We're going to come back for the miscellaneous talk section. We're going to talk a little bit of podcast, comedy, funny stuff, and then we're going to get into some sports. And it's going to be a little bit sports heavy this week, so just want to warn you there, loyal listener. And, just go take a break, whatever you need to do, and we'll be right back for the final section of episode 22. Be right back. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 22. This is the miscellaneous talk section, and we're going to get into some comedy today and some sports as the plan. So let's get it started. All right, so there is a comedian I like named Kelsey Cook, and she has a new comedy special coming out. It's called The Hustler, and it releases on YouTube March 9th, 2023. So you can go check that out. I guess next weekend is what it is. And if you want to get it early, you can get it on her website, now on kelseycook.com. I watched Kelsey's appearance on Are You Garbage this week, and that was very funny. That was her second time being on the show, and I believe, they deemed she was pretty garbage on the first time, and I think they have stamped the garbage on the second time, so very funny. Also love, Kevin and Ryan, the Are You Garbage guys are very funny if you want to listen to them, and I just wanted to highlight this new comedy special coming out. It'll be something I'm checking out. I love when people do YouTube releases. I pay for YouTube Premium, so I'll be able to watch this ad-free, and I don't think YouTube has anything to say about the quality. I think the quality is just as high as can be just as high as a special on Netflix or any mainstream site where you're paying a subscription. So I love the YouTube model. I think it's a good way to get the views out there on your comedy. And Kelsey, I think she's did a special a long time ago, at least one. So she's not like a noob to this game. So it's just going to be cool to see. Her career's really been popping off and bubbling from my perspective, and seeming very successful. So I think this could catapult her to even greater heights, having like a big mainstream YouTube special out there. So shout out to Kelsey Cook, very funny. Go check her out if you'd like to. The Are You Garbage is a great intro to that. She also has her own podcast called Self-Helpless, if you'd like to listen to that as well. I think that comes out on Mondays. I used to keep up with that a good bit, but not as much anymore, but it's definitely a quality podcast. All right, some more podcast talk. I want to shout out Princess Shenk, Sarah Wine Shenk, and Josh Potter. They've been doing a lot of podcasts together. They've been appearing on each other's podcasts, and I think anytime those two are together, it's hilarious. And that's the Josh Potter Show. Shenk's podcast is called Shenk, and then Shenk and Kim Congdon also have This Bitch. And I don't know if Josh has been on This Bitch, but I think he might have. But it's really funny. If you ever see Shenk and Potter together, go check them out. They're very funny. And sorry for my phone having a notification. And I want to highlight them. Kim Congdon's very funny too. She's Shenk's host on This Bitch. So go check out Kim Congdon. I know she's touring everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So go check out their dates. That was Sarah Wine, Shenk, Josh Potter, and Kim Congdon. Go check them out. And then last comedian I'd like to shout out this week is Chrissy Chaos. I feel like Chrissy Chaos is a mother freaking star. He's popping up on everything. He's got a new show. He's been on Jimmy Kimmel. He did Rogan. He does his regular shows, Chrissy Chaos. He has Hey Babe with Sal. So Chris Stefano is very funny. Very cool to see him having all this success and what's the hoopla over him, and seeing him a lot on big shows, and it just seems like he's doing big things. He's rocking some new glasses, rocking some new outfits. Chrissy's looking good out there. So shout out to Chrissy Chaos. Go follow him everywhere you can. He's a very funny comedian. He has a special. His most recent special was on Netflix. So if you want to check that out, and all of his podcast content and stuff is on YouTube. He also does a show now weekly where he talks about, I guess it's Christories. So it's like Chris giving you histories, and that's very funny. He'll pick like an era or a topic in history, and he talks about it. So go watch any content Chrissy Chaos has. He's very funny. So that's going to end the comedy talk for this week, and we're going to get into the sports. That's the main meat of the miscellaneous talk section, is usually the sports, and I want to talk about some of that. So let's see here. The official NFL team of the Dep Lewis Show is the Carolina Panthers. Let's see. For free agency, there's been some talks about them getting Jalen Ramsey, about them praying. I guess it's either, they got to sign a new corner possibly. They had some trouble at corner last year with some injuries. We have D-Jack, who keeps getting hurt, but is a very good corner. We have J.C. Horn, who seems very elite, but he's been hurt some too. I think Bradbury's the guy who was getting burned last year, and I think I saw something, it might have been Sport Track or something, saying he's wanting $14 million for a year, and that somebody will pay it for him. That's his market value. So I don't know. He was getting kind of burned at the end of the season a little bit, but that corner room was kind of depleted. But that was, not too much Panthers news to report. I think they met with Derek Carr. I don't know if I anticipate them signing Derek Carr because of his high price tag. I kind of hope they draft a young guy and then, pay a veteran to be on the staff. They got Matt Corral. They got another quarterback who I don't think has really seen playing time. So I think they need to get the answer for the future, the young guy, and, possibly let him play, but they also need to have a veteran in that room. I think would be helpful. I even heard Sam Darnold being mentioned as a veteran. So if Sam Darnold doesn't want, something crazy like $18 million like he was getting, I think he would be a sound veteran to have on the team. And he's not even that old. So I think that would be cool, but I think that's kind of dependent on a few things about, what Sam wants to do with his career, the price tag, and then what the Panthers want to do in the draft or with trades or whatever. But I don't love the idea of the Panthers getting a veteran to work with this roster. I think they should draft a young guy so they can mold them exactly as they'd like to, and hopefully hit strike gold with one of these guys. That happens from time to time. There's some rookie quarterbacks that really can turn up in the league, so I'm hoping the Panthers can possibly draft one of those is my biggest hope. So the Panthers' home games for 2023 include the Falcons, the Saints, the Bucks, the Packers, the Vikings, the Texans, the Colts, and the Cowboys. I have a friend that's a Packers fan, so I'll hopefully be trying to go see the game. Panthers versus the Packers would be sick. The 2023 away games are Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers, Bears, Lions, Jaguars, Titans, Seahawks, and Dolphins. So just a lot of days till the football starts. Panthers got to get their roster in order, but just very exciting. And wanted to talk a little bit about the official NFL team of the Dep Lewis Show. All right, so the next thing to know, I've talked about the Dep Lewis Show relocating, and I want to tell you that I relocated to Carolina in the Northern Carolina, so I'm closer to being able to see some sporting events, which is cool. So I actually went and saw the Charlotte FC play. I went to the match versus the New England Revolution for the start of the season. They lost 0-1, but the game was awesome. There was like 69,000 people in attendance there, and I sat in some pretty cheap seats, but it was a good view and it was very fun. I've seen the Charlotte FC play once before, in like a minor league. It exhibition like in another city. It was just like a minor league. They played like a minor league team from there or whatever. But it was very cool, and this was, a completely different atmosphere in Bank of America Stadium. That was my first time going to Bank of America Stadium, and it was epic. I'm going to hopefully plan on going to some more of these matches in the future, and you probably are too if you're listening, because there were 69,000 people there. There's a ton of people there. Very cool. So Dep Lewis Show could be getting in. Yeah, so I relocated, so you could start hearing some more. I'm already a Panthers fan, but you might hear some more, some Charlotte FC talk, or even the next topic of discussion is the Charlotte Hornets. I went to the game versus the Suns on Wednesday night, so I got to see KD's his first appearance with the Phoenix Suns, and that was KD. That's my second time seeing KD live in person. I've seen him win both games. I've seen him play in person, and the Suns were looking very good. The Hornets put up a pretty good fight. The game wasn't ever really that close. Oubre put up a lot of points, but he had a lot of shots. I don't think his percentage was that great, but they kept it pretty close. But the Suns were pretty much in control this whole game. But it was fun to see him in person. The Spectrum Center was cool. The seats were too expensive, and I had a great time. So I plan on going to some more of these Hornets games when I can. So it's just nice to be kind of close to him. I saw the game, versus the Pistons on Monday night. Hornets won, but LaMelo got hurt. So, I should have talked about that before the Wednesday night game. But I did see the Hornets play the Pistons on Monday. That was the game where LaMelo got injured and fractured his foot. And, I remember this play. I didn't immediately realize that he was injured, but I do remember him falling down and passing out of it. So I was like, okay, he fell or tripped, but he had got out of it. And then I kept looking for him on the bench and wondering what happened. And then I checked Twitter, and they said he left with the injury. So that was one of those things where I was kind of missing what was going on in person a little bit. But I definitely noticed that LaMelo was gone and was wondering what was happening. So, it's kind of sad that, I finally get close enough where I can go see some of these games, and he's hurt for the last 18 games of the season. So it's okay. The Hornets will still be playing some, it's still NBA basketball. You're still seeing some, you can see the away team. The Hornets still got some hoopers on their side. So there's still some things to watch. But I just want to say sorry to the Atlanta Hawks that, I might be talking a little bit more about the Hornets these days, since it's possible I could be seeing some of these games. So let's see. Yeah, then Charlotte got whooped last night against the Orlando Magic. I saw Paulo Ranchero was going off. I think Oubre was still scoring, but it looked like the Magic were in control pretty much that whole game. So Hornets, just trying to end the season. I guess they're trying to get in the Victor Wembanyama. I got to learn how to say that properly, but Wembanyama, I believe is how you say it. They want to be able to drop the 7'5" phenom, so that would be pretty cool if he could end up coming to the Hornets, but we will see. All right. The official NBA team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Atlanta Hawks, they beat Brooklyn Sunday 226-2023, 129-127. Trey had 34. This was his second game in a row with 34 points, so he was cooking. And the week ahead, they had Washington, they had Portland, they got Miami tonight. Monday they play Miami again, then they got back-to-back against Washington next week. But the Hawks beat Portland last night. I don't think they had Trey. And DeJounte Murray dropped 41, which was his career high. I saw them going crazy in the locker room after. Very cool. I love some DeJounte Murray. And I hope the Hawks can have some more success this week. And I just want to apologize for watching the Hornets in person and talking about the Hornets. But I think the Hawks will understand. And, my sports heart is big enough for all these teams. So I'm going to be loving up on all of them. But the main sports team that I'm loving up on is the Atlanta Braves. And that's the official team of the Dep Lewis Show. Major League Baseball is the official sport of the Dep Lewis Show. And spring training started off a little bit poorly for the Braves. Just wins-wise, no injuries, thank God, because that's the worst thing to see in spring training is someone get hurt. They tied the first game on the 9th inning pitch clock loaded bases error. So the first game, the Braves were the example around the league of how you have to watch that pitch clock. The bases were loaded. Pitcher was too late on the pitch clock, and it walked the runner home and ended the game. So that was a pretty big buzz around the sports world talking about that, and it was involving the Braves. So hopefully they learn from it. I keep hearing Scherzer talk in the media about how he's going to try to use this to his advantage and has been working on that. So this pitch clock actually seems like something that can help the pitchers. But in that instance, it did not help them. So they're working through the kinks on these things. Thank God it was in spring training. I'm sure we'll see some of this in the regular season, but hopefully not too much. Hopefully this rule is just in place to speed the game up, not really detract from it in any other way. So that's my hope. So let's see here. The Braves lost their second spring training game with no runs scored. The Yankees put up 7. And then the Braves have actually been getting a little bit better. Actually put up some runs in the next game. The week ahead, it's the Blue Jays, Twins, Rays, Mets, Astros, Baltimore, Minnesota, and Yankees. And it looks like they played 2 games today on March 4th. I meant to look this up against the Orioles and the Twins. I don't know if they have a split squad going on or what's going on with that, but I want to check that out. I haven't really been able to watch all the games on MLB TV. It's been a little confusing or not as clear, and I've also been kind of busy, so I haven't really been having too much time to check into these, but I do have the problem of before March 30th, I got to find a way to watch the Braves games, and I need to be actively trying to figure that out beforehand, but I've just been kind of keeping up with the spring training news at this point. What other things? Ian Anderson got rocked in his first start. That's not good to see. I'm still a little bit on the Ian Anderson hype train, but that train, he might be departing the hype train with his performance, but it's not good to see. Ian Anderson, he did great for the Braves for a while. He struggled last season, got sent down to the minors. They kind of put some confidence in him, like saying we still have confidence in him, and they have him come out for spring training and he gets rocked. Can't be good for his confidence. Hopefully the team is not taking that too harshly because it's just spring training. But Ian Anderson has a lot to prove early on in the season, and I think he knows that, and the Braves know that as well. So I just hope for him and for the Braves' sake that Ian Anderson can get off to a hot start this season and have some success, and that this, him getting rocked in spring training is just him working out the kinks. And, it's like getting mad. I don't know. You can't get mad at these people. It's not completely indicative of how they're going to play in the regular season, but it could be a worrisome sign. But Ian Anderson, the Dep Lewis Show is behind you, and we are hoping for your success this season. So March 28th is the end of spring training, and the season starts March 30th for the Braves. The minor league season starts at the beginning of April, and I think I'm sort of close to a minor league team here in North Carolina, so I might be seeing some of those games, and I can report on that. So it's possible the sports section of the show can be a little bit heavier going forward, especially with the start of baseball season. Obviously, this show is mainly focused on the video games, but I do love some sports, and having the chance to go see some sports in person too will help me want to talk about them and want to give you guys some more insight that than you might normally get just from the news or watching on TV or whatever, because I'll actually be at some of these. So very cool, very fun, love the sports. And that's going to wrap up this miscellaneous talk section for the show today. So we talked about some comedy. We talked about Kelsey Cook's comedy special. The Hustler comes out March 9th, 2023 on YouTube. Go check that out. Or you can watch it early on her website now, I think, if you pay for it. So kelseycook.com. Shout out Sarah Wine, Shenk, and Josh Potter, Kim Congdon. Shout out Chrissy Chaos. Those are all my comedians I've been loving this week. Carolina Panthers. No news there. Just trying to get their staff together and figure out their quarterback. I'm interested in the draft stuff. Charlotte FC, their season just kicked off. I'm going to see them, I believe next week I'm going to see a match. It'll be very cool. Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo's hurt, but they're still moving along for the end of the season. I think there's like 16 games left maybe, but they might be in a good position to get one of those high lottery balls. So we will see. But I did get to see KD's first game with the Phoenix Suns, and that was very cool. They look very dangerous. Booker was cool to see in person. Even DeAndre Ayton was cool to see in person. CP3 was out there doing this thing. I think if that team could stay healthy, they can be a force to be reckoned with. The Atlanta Hawks, I think they need to get Trey back, but DeJounte Murray with the career high is awesome to see. It's cool to see the team celebrating and being happy. So, shout out to Coach Quinn. That was his first win with the Hawks, and hopefully many more. Just got a lot of hope there. And we got a second half of the season. Hawks can definitely be in the playoffs, and we'll see. I think the East is wide open. And I don't think the Hawks have a great chance, but I think, anybody does. Anybody's got a puncher's chance, especially if you're in the tourney. So we will see. And the Atlanta Braves are going through spring training. The season officially kicks off March 28th. Minor league season starts in April. And hopefully the Braves are just working out all the kinks. Hopefully Ian Anderson working out the kinks especially is what I want to say. So go Braves. It's the main thing I want to say. And go sports. And just thank you for listening to this show. That's going to wrap up this section. That's going to wrap up the show. So I just appreciate you listening like you always do. A few housekeeping things. Follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. Clips of the show on YouTube and TikTok. And just thank you as always for being here. I'll be back next week for episode 23. I'll probably have played a good bit more video games next week. I hopefully have some cool news in the midsection, and I hopefully have some cool sports stuff to report to you in the miscellaneous talk section. So I hope you have a wonderful week out there. Go charge your controllers. Go update your consoles. Go buy a new console. Go buy a game. Go pre-order something. Go play some co-op. Just go do some gaming and come back next week and listen to Dep Lewis Show episode 23 because I'll be here. So I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, loyal listeners, and just another great episode of the Dep Lewis Show. And come back next week for more Dep Lewis.
Say